Tune in every Monday morning at 10 for Get in the Know with host Marley B, providing the city of Highland Park news, information, and entertainment. Find out what's happening in Highland Park from the city's movers and shakers. Get in the Know with Marley B. Monday mornings at 10, right here on WHPR.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Monday, September the 26th, and it's that time again. It's 10 a.m., and it's time for Get in the Know with the City of Highland Park. My name is Marley Blackman. Marley B, that's me. I am your host as well as the press secretary for the City of Highland Park. Thank you so much for tuning in on yet another great Monday morning. Today, we're going to talk about crime, not only in the city of Highland Park, but, in our surrounding areas and the world. We're going to talk about how to protect yourselves, how to stand your own ground, and things to look out for. There's just too much going on in the city of Highland Park and surrounding areas and the world. And we just really need to make sure that we know what to do and how to do it. Today I have on our show our Chief of Police, Chief Chester Logan, and Lieutenant Edwards. We're going to come back. We're going to go take a short break and come back, and we're going to interview them and just talk about some really key points on how to protect yourselves and just some wonderful things that's happening in the city of Highland Parks and some things that we're doing. So stay tuned in, and we'll be right back.
Tune in every Monday morning at 10 for Get in the Know with host Marley B, providing the city of Highland Park news, information, and entertainment. Find out what's happening in Highland Park from the city's movers and shakers. Get in the Know with Marley B. Monday mornings at 10, right here on WHPR.
And welcome back to Get in the Know, the Highland Park's your own very own TV show, your own platform. So please, I want to just get some housekeeping out of the way. If you like to call in, we have guests on the show, our Chief of Police, Chester Logan, and our Lieutenant of Police, Lieutenant Edwards. We'd like for you to call in. So I'm going to give you those numbers now. It's 313-868-0342. Again, that's 313-868-0342. So as we're talking and just getting comfortable in our conversations, I want you to, if you have some questions and you want to call in and ask myself, the lieutenant, or the chief, please feel free to do that. There has been so much going on in the world. Every time you turn on the news, if it's not the political races, it's crime. Whether it's terrorist attacks, it's black on black crime, there's shooting, there's carjackings, there's home invasions, there's just always something. As much as we like to stay busy, being the chief of police, the lieutenant of police, as well as the press secretary, we don't want to have to cover crimes all the time, every day. Unfortunately, we have to, because people are just doing things that make the news. And we want to talk about that. We want to talk about how you can become safe and what you need to do to protect not only your home, but your surroundings and your family. So I'm going to ask Chief of Police Chester Logan to join us. Welcome. Good morning.
Thank you for having me here.
Good. What do you think about the show? This is for Highland Park. This is for you guys. What do you think about it?
I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be here, and I think this accomplishes a lot. It keeps the community informed, and I'm excited.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so I know previously we had a town hall meeting, probably about 4 months ago, would you say? 3 or 4 months ago?
3 or 4 months ago.
Okay, and then so the mayor of our wonderful city invited the community to come down to the town hall meeting and got a chance to meet not only yourself and your staff, but the fire department and everybody that runs the city of Highland Park. So I know that there were some questions that was posed. I was actually the moderator of that particular town hall meeting, and we took some questions and we had you write down some questions. So if you're tuned in and you did not get a question answered, please, we have the chief of police right now. You can give him a call, and the lieutenant here, and you can give her a call right here at 313-868-0342. So the city of Highland Park has been known for its crime in the past, and we're really not new to that. However, with you being aboard, chief of police, we have not had much crime at all. And what are you doing differently? Because now the city of Highland Park is a safe place to live, with crime rates going and growing through Detroit and California and Memphis, Tennessee, and all of these, Chicago, if you will, St. Louis, all of these, the crime rate is drastically increasing, but it's drastically decreasing here, right here in Highland Park. What are you doing to make that happen?
Well, I don't know if I necessarily can take any credit for what's going on in our community. I
Okay.
think one of the things that we have to give credit to is our community. I think that this is a wonderful community. The community tends to look out for one another, and so it starts right there.
Okay.
Secondly, you'd have to thank the men and women who get out there and labor every day under sometimes trying circumstances. They don't get a lot of pay. I wish I could pay them more, but they get out there and they hustle and they do their best to serve this community. So it's really a collaboration between not only the police department but the community, getting to know one another and working out our problems.
Nobody's coming down Woodward. Nobody's stirring up any mess. I think because they know it's a new sheriff in town. What you think?
Uh,
I think that has a lot to do. You have to take some credit for that because you're constantly doing great things. We have new vehicles, right? You
right,
just hired new police officers.
correct.
Let's talk about that. These are things that's going to better service your department.
Well, when we talk about new vehicles, we purchased one new vehicle,
Okay.
and then we had a business in the community that donated a second one.
Okay.
So we've got two brand new vehicles that we haven't. It's been almost 10 years since we were able to get a new vehicle.
Okay.
And the officers and the hierarchy of the police department are very excited about that, as well as community members. So we are in fact making strides. But here again, I cannot sit here and take much credit for what's going on. And there's an old saying that more in life can be accomplished if we don't worry about who gets the credit.
Okay.
And I'm a firm believer in that.
Wonderful.
My predecessor, Chief Coney, he laid a lot of the groundwork, and I have to acknowledge that. And like I said, the men and women who get out there every day and do the job under trying circumstances, I have to give them credit for that also.
All right.
You mentioned the fact that we recently hired 7 officers. I'm very excited about having those 7 new officers out there. It really eases the load on the men and women who are, on the department now. For those of you that don't know it, the Highland Park Police Department is a part-time department. So we don't staff full-time, and we're constantly in need of more good men and women, especially Highland Parkers. We give Highland Parkers a priority in hiring if we can find some. So to the listening audience, the viewing audience out there, if they know some people whom they'd recommend to be a police officer in the city of Highland Park,
Yes.
please let us know.
Absolutely. So, not only are you protecting our city with your wonderful team, you're putting it out there that we could possibly hire our very own community to be a part of the police department, correct?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So we have some calls that's coming through. Do you want to take a call?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's have some fun. All right, we're going to take our first caller. I saw some people drop off, but we just have to finish our interviewing and make sure we're asking all the good questions of our chief of police. So don't fall off. I'm going to get to you. I'm going to take our first caller now. Caller, you're live on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're wonderful. How are you?
I'm okay today.
Good. What's your question?
Really looking at the program and really enjoying it. I'm Yakanan from Detroit, watching you on Channel 91.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I'd like to ask the chief of the 7 officers, how many are black? And of the officers, does any of the officers live in Highland Park? That's the first question.
3 of the officers were people of color, and right now none live in the city of Highland Park.
Okay. Now, one thing that I have a problem with is that people of color. I need specific black, not people of color. How many are black?
3 are black.
3 are black,
Yes,
and none live in the city of Highland Park.
None live in the city of Highland Park.
And I would like to also pose the question of when will you start residency? Because as far as my observations, if residency isn't employed, you have these abuses by the officers who don't live in the community. And that's just, I spoke with the mayor last week, and he tells me that they allow their officers to live 15 miles out of the city. And I'm just looking at that. You pay a guy with Highland Park taxpayers' money, and then you allow him to go 15 miles out, which is probably Rochester or something like that, to take that money out of the city of Highland Park and place it in a bank in Rochester or something like that, and then spend it out there. None of the citizens get to see that money in the community anymore. And I was just wondering, is there any plans to start residency? Because this out of city policing, this is the main problem in this country today. Having these officers come to the community, make money, take that out of the community, do not bring anything to the community but abuse, and injustice. This has to stop. Can we do anything to end this? And who's in charge? Who started the residency? This is ridiculous. This doesn't keep our children safe. This doesn't keep citizens safe.
Okay, caller.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. Absolutely. We're going to have the chief answer that the best way that he can. Thank you for calling.
And thank you, sir. That was an excellent question, and I am not in disagreement with you. However, you need to know that this is not controlled by local governments. This is state law that allows for residency, or that really effectively ended residency. So if we're going to change the laws, we've got to start in Lansing, not in Highland Park.
Absolutely. And that's very true. We have to start in Lansing. We have to make sure that we're registered to vote. We get out and vote. There are a lot of things that's on the ballot this up and coming election that we really need to get our hands on it and look at some of those things, because there's a lot of things on there that not only affects us, but affects our community, affects our children. So please just make sure that you guys register to vote, and some of those things can change, just questions like that and many others that you may have. We're going to take the next caller. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, caller. Good morning. You're live on the air.
Good morning.
What's your question?
Yes, to the chief. It was kind of disheartening to hear your 7 new officers, only 3 are black. I know you have to adhere to anti-discrimination laws and stuff like that. But one of my concerns when I stroll through Highland Park is I see a lot of white officers, and I guess they don't live in the city. What's the effort, if any, is being made to increase the people who live in Highland Park to join the police department? That's one question. I hope there's some kind of effort, because police, of course, should represent the community that they serve. And then I have a question for the PR person, if I could.
Sure.
Want me to ask now?
Sure, as long as it's clean.
Okay. Yeah. Of course. I mean,
I have an eject
what is
button
the
that I can push.
population
You don't want me to
of,
push
Highland
that.
Park, and have we lost, as the city of Highland Park, lost population in the last census?
Say that once more. Can you pose the question once more,
What's
please?
the current population of Highland Park, and was there a decrease in the last census of people living in Highland Park?
Yeah,
Well,
there,
that's my
there.
question.
Well, with all cities, and Detroit being included, that there was a decline in population. I'm not sure. The last I checked, it was roughly around a little over 10,000 residents in the city of Highland Park. But you can call our city hall and get the exact numbers. But that's roughly where we are. And the efforts that the question that you asked to our chief, as far as hiring African American cops, it's open for everybody to apply. And this you can take as our first effort. This show, we're right now saying that you can apply, go to City Hall and apply for the jobs that they have available. He's right here on the air. He just mentioned before you called, caller, that he is hiring. We are looking for residents here. We're looking for all residents. We want good people, good cops to patrol our city just so we can keep it safe. Because again, as I mentioned, we have declined drastically in crime, and we are now considered a safe place to live. Probably all year, just one murder, whereas Detroit, Chicago, Memphis, they're in like 300 to 500, those numbers. So our chief is doing a wonderful job. And if you or anyone else that you know that they aspire to be a police officer, please reach out to our chief and get the ball rolling. It's open. Chief, do you have anything to add to that?
I would follow up on that by saying that there's going to be, or right now begins, an all-out effort to recruit people of color from this city to be Highland Park police officers. We do have some, but we don't have nearly enough, and we're constantly looking for a few good men and women.
A few good men
And women.
and
to be on
women.
to be on our department.
And that's all we can ask for, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, caller, thanks so much for calling. If you have any other questions, please feel free to give us a call at 313-686-4336. Good morning, caller. You're on the air with Chief Chester Logan and me, Marley B. We are right here in Highland Park, and we can take your call.
Yes, I just have a question for the chief. I applaud what you're doing, and I think it's very important that when people see their police in their community, that they look like them, not just so much look like them, but look familiar. I think it made me feel good growing up as a kid to see people who I grew up with ride by in the police car, because I knew that they had more than my best interests at hand. And them being a police officer just made it that much greater. But my question would be next, that to work on the police department as an officer is one thing. What about the inner workings of the department, like the person at the desk and like the civilian jobs?
We do in fact have some civilian jobs for those who qualify for the jobs. One of the things that we're blessed with in Highland Park is that we do have a number of civilian volunteers that help augment the police department, and we call those people, for the most part, we call them police reserves. We have a number of police reserves who help augment the department and do a lot of those civilian jobs at no cost to the city.
Wow, that's great. So how many of those do we have, reserve officers that's like donating their time, donating their efforts, and just believing in the city of Highland Park, believing in you, believing in the department, and just giving themselves? How many of those people do we have?
We have approximately 60. We're constantly looking at our roles to see if we need to increase that number or decrease the number, but it's around 60.
Wow.
They volunteer at least 8 hours at least 20 hours a month. They come in, they work in our jails, they help at the intake desk downstairs at City Hall. They just perform a number of things that would really cost the city a great deal of money if it were not for those volunteers.
Wonderful. Do you need, if you want to become a reserve officer, what do you have to do? What kind of training, or what's the process?
Essentially, we ask that you not have a felony record, and we provide the training.
Okay.
It's a standard type training that has to meet MCO certification. You don't have to be MCO certified, but they provide the template for how a reserve should be trained.
Wonderful. Now, MCODE, could you tell viewers that's watching that may not know what that means? What does that mean?
MCO stands for Michigan Law Enforcement. Oh, okay, give me a second. I'll tell
Okay,
you exactly
okay.
what it
All right,
means.
wonderful. No worries. All right, so thank you so much. We have one more caller, and then we're going to take a short break. Good morning. You're live on the air. We can't hear you. Can you talk up, please?
How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
Okay. I just have one question or statement for the chief, and that is, could he do me one favor and just say black people one time instead of people of color? Thank you.
Thank you for your call, sir. I think you said that already.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, I
you did. Okay,
And that
perfect.
MCOS is Michigan Council for Law Enforcement.
Got it. Wonderful. All right, we're going to take a short break. Thank you again for tuning in to Get in the Know. This is your very own show in the city of Highland Park. The information that you need to know every Monday at 10 a.m. with me, your host, Marley Blackman. Marley B, that's me. Stay locked in, and we're going to bring up Lieutenant Edwards from the city of Highland Park. Thank you. And we're back with Get in the Know, the city of Highland Park's very own show. I'm your host, Marley Blackman. Marley B, that's me. And here to join me today is our Chief of Police, Chief Chester Logan, and Lieutenant Edwards. Hi, Lieutenant Edwards. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good. Lieutenant Edwards, she likes to be behind the scenes. She's busy. She's has her hands in so many things. But before we get directly into talking with Lieutenant Edwards, I want to introduce our chief once more. Just really introduce him more in a intimacy way. I want you guys to know where he came from, what his background is, and what led him right here in the city of Highland Park. Chief, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a product of Detroit Public Schools. I served in the Army for 3 years. I was a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division. I served in Vietnam in 1968, and in 1969 I first became a Detroit police officer.
Wow.
I stayed on the Detroit Police Department from 1969 until 2002. I rose from the rank of police officer to a commander, and I retired in 2002. In 2005, I was called and asked to come back to work, and I was promoted to the rank of deputy chief. And I stayed, that stint lasted 3
No.
years.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That lasted for 3 years.
Okay.
I retired again in 2008, and in 2010 I got a call from then Chief of Police Ralph Godby, who asked me if I'd be interested in coming back to work again as his assistant chief, and I agreed. And for those of you that recall the turmoil that the department experienced in 2012 when then Chief Godby had to step down, I assumed the title of Chief of Police of the city of Detroit. I kept that for a few months, and I retired again in July of 2013.
Wow. A lot of retirements.
A lot of retirements. I I was educated. My first school that I went to was the Highland School of Higher Education, was Highland Park Community College. I have an associate degree from Wayne County,
Okay.
a bachelor's degree from Madonna University,
Okay.
and I have a master's degree from Eastern Michigan University. I also taught as an adjunct professor at Eastern Michigan University. I was married to my wife for 42 years.
Okay.
She died in 2013.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So I have 4 children, and I'm moving on with my life.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, okay. So you're here in Highland Park. Why are you? Why? You've gone into retirement, you've come out of retirement, you've done that so many times. Why not just stay retired? You just can't get enough of working, huh?
Well, not so much that. I think I still have a lot to give.
Yeah.
I think I've got a lot of experience. I'm very community oriented. I believe in the officers who are out there doing the job, and
Yes.
I think we can still accomplish great things.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So you're doing amazing things in Highland Park. I'm proud of you. And I just got here. I'm not a Highland Parker, but I am quickly getting entrenched in Highland Park and loving it. And so I can say that I'm proud to be a part of the team and the work that you are doing and with your department and with the community. And I know the citizens have to be proud of what you're doing, just keeping our cities and our streets safe. And you're helping them, Lieutenant Edwards. You're doing an amazing job as well.
Thank you.
Can you pronounce your first? Because I'm nervous now to say your name, so the first name. So I don't want to mess it up. So can you tell us who you are, what you do, what you bring to the city of Highland Park? Are you a Highland Parker, True Blue, or tell me about you?
My name is Jamil Edwards. I came to Highland Park in 1988.
Okay.
I graduated from Detroit Public Schools.
Okay.
I went into the United States Army.
Okay.
I came as a public safety officer in '88, so I'm police and fire trained. And I've been here ever since.
Wow. That's one thing that I love about the city of Highland Park. We're small but mighty because it's like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of our key people are cross trained. And that you don't really find that in a lot of municipalities. Would you say so, Chief?
I would say no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
At one time, it was a trend around the country, then it kind of slowed down.
Yeah.
But like you said, we're blessed to have cross-trained people in the city of Highland Park.
Absolutely. So Friday, there was that was a very sad day. Can you tell us why Friday was a sad day and something that our city, our small mighty force, you said this is what we're doing. We're going to lend our officers to go and help. Can you tell us what happened? Tell the community what happened.
Yes, ma'am. On Friday, there was a funeral for a police officer, a police sergeant that was killed in the city of Detroit in the line of duty.
Okay.
He worked at the 9th Precinct.
Yes.
Their personnel was stretched real thin, and many officers who probably wanted to attend the sergeant's funeral wouldn't have been able to go. We collectively called the city of Detroit and talked to the hierarchy in the Detroit Police Department and asked, how can we help?
Yes.
And they suggested that maybe we could provide some relief for those officers assigned to the 9th Precinct, which would allow them to attend a fallen officer's funeral. And that's exactly
Wow.
what we did.
Wow.
We put out a call, and we had 11 officers volunteer to go help the officers in the 9th Precinct.
Yes. And I got a call from I think it was on the news on Channel 4 covered it, which was wonderful. And we went over to the 9th Precinct, and Chief Coney was there. Our Chief of Fire was there, and he's cross-trained. And so I had to ask the question because I wasn't sure. I said he's hosted with a gun, and he's got his little badge on. And I go, Chief Coney, can you make arrests? He's like, oh, absolutely I can, because he's cross-trained. And that's just a beautiful thing to have in the city of Highland Park. That is a gem. That's a tool. And that's some things that we should just be thankful that we have. And for you, Chief, to volunteer our small but mighty staff, our police officers, to go over and just relieve those officers. What a great thing to do! What a great thing to do! And what do you have to say about that, Lieutenant Edwards?
I thought that was excellent. We're brothers and sisters under the shield,
Yes,
and we are family,
absolutely.
and we make sure that we protected our family.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. So not only are we doing those wonderful things, we are. You guys have you created an organization to bring wonderful events to the city of Highland Park, correct?
Correct.
And what is that organization titled? What is it called?
Well, we actually haven't given it a title. It's
Okay.
just a committee of concerned citizens of Highland Park that
Okay.
come together every Monday
Yes.
at 2 p.m. at City Hall in the staff room.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. So we're going to take a short break and we're going to be right back. We're going to talk about all the wonderful things that the city of Highland Park is doing, some great events, and how you can actually get involved. So stay tuned to Get in the Know, your own very own City of Highland Park TV show. I'm your host, Marley B., and we'll be right back.
Tune in every Monday morning at 10 for Get in the Know with host Marley B., providing the city of Highland Park news, information, and entertainment. Find out what's happening in Highland Park from the city's movers and shakers. Get in the Know with Marley B. Monday mornings at 10, right here on WHPR.
And you're back. We're back to Get in the Know, your very own TV show, the City of Highland Park. I am Marley Blackman, Marley B, that's me. And you are joined, what's joining me is our Chief of Police, Chester Logan, and Lieutenant Jamil Edwards. And now I feel safe with saying her name because she said it herself. So I'm just repeating it. We have some great things going on in the City of Highland Park. This is your platform. Please feel free anytime we're on to call us at 313-868-0342. This is your show. I am just the host, just trying to get you in the know of what's going on. And Lieutenant Edwards, can you tell us about some great events that we have coming up for the month of October and November?
Well, October is the Cancer Awareness Month, and we're going to have a cancer walk. And then we're going to have an October Fest.
Wait, let's back up. Let's back up. Okay, we're going to break every event down.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the Cancer Walk, we're doing
Yes,
that
ma'am.
right here in Highland Park?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this the first?
First annual cancer walk.
Wow. And I was in your office and I saw some T-shirts that was made, and they were pretty cool. They're really cool.
Yes.
And so do we have the Cancer Walk is spearheaded by whom?
The cancer walk is spearheaded by the Committee of Concerned Citizens of Highland Park.
Okay. All right. So how can people get involved? How can they walk? How can they get a T-shirt? How can they donate? Do we have that set up? Can we tell them how they can do that?
Well, actually, no. We're in the planning stage. We have to go in front of City Council to let them to get an approval
Okay.
of all of the events, the upcoming events.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. We have a wonderful city council, so they're so awesome. So you're going to talk about that, and then maybe next week I can let them know. Will we know as soon as next week
Yes,
or the next
ma'am.
couple of weeks? Okay, so we can let our residents know, our citizens know how they can get involved, where the walk's going to be, how they can donate, and all those things, right?
Correct.
Awesome. Okay, what else do we have?
We have Oktoberfest coming up.
Okay.
The 29th of October, we're going to have a senior trip and dining with the seniors of Highland Park. We will
Wow.
be providing transportation for them.
Okay, wonderful.
And on the 30th, we're going to have Apple Orchard in the Hood, and it's going to be at Woodward and Avalon.
Okay.
And
What can one do at Apple Orchard in the Hood? Wait,
Pick-
first of all, how did we come up with that name? How did we Apple Orchard in the Hood? Seriously, Lieutenant Edwards, how did we come up with that name?
Well, we came up with that name because Mother Shue, who is Shameen Harris, who is a chaplain for Highland Park,
Wonderful.
she has a project on Avalon. Her son was killed, Jacoby,
Okay.
and that was her name that she brought. And
Wonderful.
they will provide Apple Orchard in the Hood. We're going to have apple cider, and donuts.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any special hay rides or treat baskets or
Be
pumpkin
provided
carving?
that night.
Okay, wonderful. So you guys stay tuned in to the show because we're going to give you the information so you can bring your children so you can get all the goodies and be a part of it. So what other events do we have?
And on the 31st, we're going to have a party for the children.
Okay.
The Corvette Club of Michigan will be providing trunk and treat for the children of Highland Park.
Okay.
And we also partner up with Loomis, and they will be providing a armored car, and they'll be raffling off a flat screen TV.
Wow. Okay. Do we have anything else coming up?
And we're in November the 22nd, we're going to give away 100 turkey baskets.
Okay.
50 to the senior citizens of Highland Park and 50 students of Highland Park.
Okay. That's it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Because I'm looking at your sheet. I'm like, all right, looks like there's more, but all right. That's it? That's all. We don't have anything else coming up.
Well, no, I was just going to talk about this. 2016 was our first year for a lot of events.
Wow.
First time in May of 2016, we had Police Week.
Okay.
Where we recognize the police officers and the services that they do provide for the citizens.
Okay.
And in August, we had National Night Out. And if you came out and celebrated with us at Woodward and Avalon,
Yes.
we really had an awesome time. And it was the first time we had a bike ride where the police department and the citizens of Highland Park rode the streets of the city of Highland Park.
That is just wonderful. Great things are happening right here in your wonderful city, the city of Highland Park. You have the chief of police and Lieutenant Edwards not only protecting you, but also bringing you some excitement and fun as well. So going back, we're going to switch back over to the chief of police, Chief Chester Logan. There were some things you wanted to talk about, you wanted to add to our conversation previously.
Yeah, one of the things I think the viewing audience should know is that the Detroit Police Department constantly provides support and backup for Highland Park because we abut approximately 5 different precincts.
Okay.
We interact with 5 different precincts in the city of Detroit.
Wonderful.
They assist us, we assist them. It's a mutual aid thing.
That is
So
awesome.
whenever we can provide a mutual aid, we do. And they're constantly backing us up. So I just thought the citizens needed to know that we do have a maybe
We got a backup plan.
we got a backup plan.
We don't want no mess because we got a backup plan, right?
Right,
All right. So we have a caller. I don't know who this call will be directed to, but we're going to go ahead and take it. Are you okay with that?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Wonderful. Hi, caller. Good morning. You're live on the air with the Chief of Police of Highland Park and Lieutenant Edwards, and then me, Marley B., your host. What can we do for you?
I hope it's okay. This is a follow-up call.
Okay.
I called earlier. Isn't the original Ford plant on Highland Park off wasn't that where the Model T was built?
Yes.
Isn't that plant still there? That building?
The building is still there. Yes.
I would just like to recommend that it be turned into a tourist attraction. It could make the city some money and, create an added attraction to the city. I can't believe that building is just sitting there, not being utilized in that manner.
Yeah. Well.
So that's my recommendation.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling. And if you think of anything else, feel free to give us a call back. You know what? First of all, let me just say something to that because the city of Highland Park is known for a lot of great things, and we have a lot of great buildings, and A lot of things has happened. A lot of history that we're known for, and things take money. It take initiative, and so the callers that's calling in, or the people that's viewing, and they're wondering what can happen. Hey, you know what? Come and donate your time. Come and give us your ideas. Help us with the movement, because this is a movement. We will have our economic development person on at some point for the city of Highland Park, and you can save your questions for her as well, because her job is to make sure that the city evolves, and we have great development here. And yes, it would be a great historical site for people to come and tour and all of those things. But again, it takes money along with those great ideas. So if you have those great ideas and you want to be a part of the city of Highland Park, just come and visit us. And I'm sure we can find something for you to do to help us get the city back to greatness and excellence of where it was and where it still is, in the direction that it's going to be in. Right now, with that, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more from our Chief of Police and our Lieutenant Edwards and me, your host, Marley B. Have a great morning, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Tune in every Monday morning at 10 for Get in the Know with host Marley B, providing the city of Highland Park news, information, and entertainment. Find out what's happening in Highland Park from the city's movers and shakers. Get in the Know with Marley B, Monday mornings at 10, right here on WHPR.
Welcome back to Get in the Know, your very own TV show at Highland Park. I am your host, Marley Blackman, Marley B., the press secretary for the city of Highland Park. And I am joined by our Chief of Police, Chester Logan, as well as Lieutenant Jamil Edwards. And we were just sitting here still chit-chatting. We wanted to talk more about the Model T plan. Chief, what do you have to say about that?
I wanted to let the last viewer who called in know that a portion of that building is still owned by the Ford Motor Company.
Okay.
You have various businesses moving in and moving out, but there's a lot going on in that building. It's just not sitting there, dormant.
Okay.
Things are going on in that building.
Okay.
That building is important. It should be important to all Highland Parkers, especially black Highland Parkers, because really you can say.
You said the word black.
Well, I said it for that.
That is great.
But
We aim to
that,
please.
from a historical sense, that's really where Michigan or Detroit's black middle class started at.
Okay.
When Henry Ford put out the call for $5 a day, he paid blacks $5 a day just like he paid whites. And from there is where we got our start in this community, the black middle class.
Wonderful.
So it means so much to us.
Wonderful.
It's more than just a building that looks vacant. It's part of our history also.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk about, we are heading into the holiday season, and we know crime escalates as we head towards Christmas and those things. People get a little nervous about making sure there's gifts under the Christmas tree and a turkey on the table at Thanksgiving. What would you say to, both of you, this question is for both of you, to people that are out shopping and just doing their day-to-day activities, to just kind of look out for their surroundings, protect themselves, some things they can do about home invasion, just making sure that they're protecting themselves and their families.
Okay, well, I'll go first.
Okay, wonderful.
One of the things that we always advocate is to make sure you know your surroundings.
Okay.
Make sure you know exactly where you are. If you can, take someone with you.
Yes.
If you're buying gifts for the holiday season, try not to discard the boxes in front of your house.
That's a
especially
good point.
Especially a box that says a 50-inch flat
TV.
screen TV. The ne'er-do-wells in the neighborhood know exactly where to
What's
go.
inside? Yes.
It's things like that. I don't personally, I don't advocate guns and the like, but if you're going to get something that's really going to keep an eye on your house, it can be as simple as a dog.
Okay.
If in fact somebody were to break in your house and you were to catch them and had a gun, that person knows that for the most part you're not going to hurt them.
Yes.
Because you just want them out. However, it's difficult for that person who broke in your house to talk to a dog.
Yes.
A dog is going to protect the home and the owner. So, think about getting a dog as opposed to getting a gun.
Okay. All right. And Lieutenant Edwards, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think the chief summed it up quite nicely.
Okay. All right. All right. So when you're out shopping and you're bringing home, you have something else?
Yeah, I just think it's so very important that the viewing audience is aware of the fact that if you don't need gasoline at night, and you shouldn't, try to gas up during the daytime. Virtually every problem that we have at a gas station or at a convenience store occurs at night. So you can really lessen your chances of being a victim of a crime if you don't put yourself in that situation.
Wonderful.
So if you can, stay away from those convenience stores and gas stations from dark until the following morning.
Wonderful.
Because there's virtually no reason why you have to get gas at night.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about women putting, Lieutenant Edwards, their purse on the passenger seat while they're driving? How quickly can someone bust the window while you're at a stoplight and take off with your purse?
Matter of seconds.
Okay.
I personally keep my purse on the floor.
Okay.
Up under my driver's seat.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. For women, because that's like a thing that really bothers me, just making sure that women are protected with children. You're standing at the bus stop with your kids, so you're a little bit more vulnerable. You may have kids in the car when you're pumping gas. You're a little bit more vulnerable. Let's talk about that. So if you have children and you're on your cell phone and you just got a bunch going on, how can you pay attention to your surroundings? Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, first you need to stop being so busy
Mm-hmm.
and take less packages. Combine your diaper bag and your wallet in one bag
Yes.
instead of having multiple bags.
Yes.
And make sure that when you look at someone, you look at them from head to toe
Mm-hmm.
so that you can get an accurate description as to who they are and not be a victim.
Got it. Got it. One thing I wanted to talk to you. You want to say add to that?
I just a couple of things. You hit on a problem that I constantly see and most of us constantly see, and that's people on cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're oblivious to their surroundings.
Yes.
They're so engaged in their conversation.
Yes.
We need to put those cell phones down, not only when we're walking, but especially when we're driving.
Yes.
I see it every single day. People will just walk out in front of cars or they're not paying attention to where they're driving and have accidents.
Mm-hmm.
So please put those cell phones down because they're really a detriment to your safety.
Yes.
And also, one of the things that we're looking at, I've talked to a number of crime prevention experts. I'm going to be able to get them to come into Highland Park and talk directly to the community about crime prevention techniques. Because one of the things I want to do is make sure we have block clubs. I want to make sure we have neighborhood watches, and I want to make sure that the citizens are as educated as possible in how to prevent being a victim of crime.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's what the people need to know. So can you tell our audience, our viewing audience, what they need to do to get more information about that?
I just had my first meeting with those people last week.
Okay.
And I think we'll have something finalized in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
But we're going to set up training for the community where the community can come out and and learn the very latest in crime prevention techniques.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. That is what this show is all about, is get in the know, get the information that you deserve the city of Highland Park, that you need, that you want to know that the administration, the city is working for you. This is just great information. I want to pose one more little thing that's bothering me. I know that a lot of things escalate from an event. So you can be in an event and you can have an argument, and then the argument can escalate to something else, and then next thing you know, it's a murder scene. How do you understand at what point that something's escalating, getting out of control, and that you need to leave and not continue to feed into it?
I don't believe that there's a roadmap that tells you that.
Okay.
But one of the things you want to make sure you do is don't go to places where you think something like that might occur.
Okay.
It's a part of knowing your surroundings.
But have you ever gone to a place? Well, not you, Chief. I know that you probably haven't. But people go to places they don't know that it's going to be get a little crazy. They could be at a 50th birthday party. They don't know that cousin Billy Joe is not, doesn't have it all, and he's going to start something. So you can always find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time. But what are some of the key things that you can look for to say, okay, it's time for me to get out of here?
Oh, well, you pointed out one, the arguing. Maybe somebody's had too much to drink.
Okay.
The lieutenant and I were talking about it earlier.
Okay.
Many times, those very scenes that you're talking about, guess what they are? They're weddings
Yep.
and their funerals.
Yep. Or family events.
Or family
Yep.
events. So I don't know. You just have to play it by ear. There's no right way or wrong way to approach the problem. But those situations, the family events, are many times where fights and arguments break out.
All right, so people, listen. We have to get our family under control a little bit. This is a true story. My little nephew turned 1 yesterday, and he had his first birthday at Chuck E. Cheese. And there was a police car in front of Chuck E. Cheese, and there was a police officer inside of Chuck E. Cheese. And so I walk up to him, I said, okay, this is making me a little nervous. Why is there a police officer inside of Chuck E. Cheese? And he goes, what you just said. He says, well, sometimes two families from the opposite ends come together. Maybe the parents aren't together anymore, and they may have, a significant other of somebody else, and then things escalate. He says that happens almost every weekend. And things just get out of control. Can you believe that? At Chuck E. Cheese. So, families, just, maybe monitor the drinking or how much alcohol that's being provided at a party, because sometimes alcohol can escalate, and we don't want to be on the news the next day trying to figure out what happened to Billy Joe, right?
For sure.
Yeah, because we just we want to protect ourselves. We want to have a good time, but we don't want things to escalate and get out of control, because a lot of things that we cover is pretty, it starts that way. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we have to protect ourselves. So we're going to close out. Is there anything you like to say?
Well, I just wanted to speak on about residency. You have a couple of Highland Park police officers that are residents of Highland Park, and I'm one of them.
Okay, wonderful. Our lieutenant is a Highland Park resident,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that is great. That's awesome. All right. Chief, is there anything you want to say?
And I just wanted to thank the community for the welcome it's given me thus far. We've got a lot of work to do, but we're going to need your help. We're going to need the community to get involved, because we can't do it alone. And I also want to let the officers out there on the street know that despite the problems that they face,
Yes.
that the community appreciates the job that they do out there.
Wonderful. And I appreciate you guys. You guys are wonderful. Like I said, Highland Park is the capital of Detroit, and now one of the newest, safest cities. So, despite anything that you've heard it from me, that Highland Park is safe, because these two, sitting right and the left of me, they're making sure that they have the great team and all the tools that they need to keep this city safe. Thank you so very much. I also want to thank RJ Watkins, Miss Willis, and his team, the engineer, everybody that has come together to make sure that this show is possible. Our wonderful Mayor Yap and our City Council. I just want to thank everyone for being a part of the show. This is your show. This is your platform. Use it. If you'd like to get in touch with me, I can be found at M. Blackman at thecityofhighlandpark.org. You can email me or you can call me here right at the show at 313-6868-0342. Thank you for tuning in to Get in the Know with your host, Marley Blackman. Marley V, that's me. We'll see you next Monday at 10 a.m.